Hello. It's Steven here. So for this video, we're gonna do an assembly. In particular, for this one, we're gonna be taking the parts that you've recently made, and you're gonna be putting them together. So for this video, we're gonna put together the columns you've been making. Um, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and open SolidWorks. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open SolidWorks. You're gonna grab your template. All right. While it opens, just one reminder for like last year's or for the recent past year's competitions. Um, an assembly is basically an assembly is basically you put your parts together and you assemble. Um, in the past years, assemblies they pretty much become Russian dolls, meaning that you can have a smaller assembly within another assembly, and so on and so on. You can just keep going and going. So what I'll do is for like right now, I'm gonna put actually column parts together, and I will name it as one assembly. And this later on, once you start putting the full model together, you can just basically call out that one assembly and throw it in, throw it in, throw it in. So for this one, let's go ahead and I'm gonna close this because we have our template. So you can either open it from the folder or you can just open it from here. All right, so it's a template. All right, it's gonna open up. You got your inches per inches right here, inches pounds seconds, I believe. Yeah. Um, all right. So what we're gonna do is first off, you gotta save it. Save it for how you're gonna want it. So this is gonna be a column. We're gonna save it as column. File name is column. Make sure you go from assembly templates to assembly. Once you've done that, go ahead, click save. There it is. One thing to know is that once you open an assembly, you want to start putting parts in, right? So what are we going to put? We're going to go up here, top left in the ribbon. The ribbon's going to have insert components. You're going to have the option. Either this open dialog box is going to open up, and if it doesn't, you can just click browse over here. We're going to go to our folders, correct folder. We're going to open column 1. That column 1 was the bottom one. So we're just going to open that, and basically you can select where you want it. So if I click in the center of the screen, it's going to throw it in there. One thing to note that is once you throw this part in, SolidWorks is actually going to fix it. So if I were to click this component and right click, um, it's actually fixed, meaning that if you want to move it, you can't. And the reason you would want to move it is because right now it's laying flat. Say this on the table, would be laying flat. I don't want this. I want to orient this as if I were going to put in the model. So one thing to do is since it's fixed, what you want to do is, if you will, you want to unfix it. But in this case, you actually want to make it float. So I'm going to click the component, right click, and go to float. And now that I've float, I can actually move this around. So I want to position this in the space in such a way that it's easier for me to work with. In that case, I want it to be standing up, and I want these notches to be facing me. That way I can see them. So one way to do that is, let's go ahead and just click it. How do you do this? You want to mate. So that's what's known as SolidWorks. It's called mate. So when you have your mate option, like I said, um, you basically gonna do coincident for the most part, or you could do a fixed one for the most part too, for like a particular distance, parallel, perpendicular, tangent. For this one, we want to do is we want to mate it to the right plane. I'm gonna try to get this to stand up. Hopefully I can get it on the first shot. Alright, I did, but you see, as you can see, I'm gonna press Control 7, ISO view, it's on the right plane, but it isn't in the way I like it. So let's go over here back to our navigation pane, and I want to delete it. If I delete this mate, it's actually going to keep the same one the mate had, but it's going to have it oriented the way it was previously with the mate, but it's just going to remove the rule. So it's going to be standing up. But the thing is, I don't want it like that, so let's do a little trick. Before I do that, let me make the bottom of this. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to control and click top plane. See, SolidWorks recognizes that you want to do a mate, so it's actually going to leave you the option right here. So this is actually the one for coincident. I'm going to mate it. So right there, let me show. I can show this. So there it is. It's being shown right here on the bottom. Here, just show. Hide. So there's your top plane. It's right there and it's mated it. But I want it to be facing me. So one way to do it is if you're actually going to click you want to rotate this. So what you could do is you could just pick this line right here, and this line will serve as an axis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily mate that to the right plane. I'm gonna mate it, and because this line is made, this line becomes an axis. I'm gonna use this as a rotation axis, so I can actually rotate it around the right plane, and now it's facing the way I want it. I don't want. I just use that mate, just for me to rotating it, but I don't want it. Um, I just don't. I could have just left it, but I rather just mate it with the right plane for, I guess, just for organizational structure. I just want to mate it with the right plane, and I want this to be on the front, to mate it with the front plane. So now it's actually there. So since I mated it with the top, the front, and the right, the origin is actually going to be right here. That's where the origin is at. Alright, so that's how that is. I'm just going to save it quickly, and there it is. Alright, so it's now that it's at the position you want. I actually want to fix this, so when I throw in another part, I don't have multiple parts floating. I'm actually going to have, once I put in the next part, that next part can float, but this part will stay fixed, so everything's going to move about this part since it's fixed. So let's go ahead and insert the next component, column 2. I'm going to open, control, so I'm just going to throw it in there. So yeah, it's in here. Alright, but look, since this one is fixed, it's not going to move. If we right click, it's going to say float, meaning that's been fixed. But if since this one's floating, it's actually, you're going to right click and it's going to offer you the option to fix it. But you don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and, alright, so if I'm looking at this correctly, this looks like it's about 3 inches. So this looks like it's the top part. So this part, I'm gonna try and mate it with that and see if it rotates it. Oh, it doesn't rotate it the way you want. Alright, it's fine, no problem. Let's just rotate it. So let's do that axis trick again to rotate it. So right now I'm just gonna line these up, coincident these two, and then just rotate it. Clicking, and there it is. It's been rotated. Let's take that coincident off. You just use it to get these things together. And so what we're gonna do is there's like two main ways that you can mate these parts together. So you could either just mate it by mating this face with this face, and then mating this face and this face. And so you can do it like that. You can do it by mating these two faces, and then mating this face, and then you just need this face with this face right here. Either or, it could be this one, that one, don't matter. Just make sure it's like a correlating face. And click right. So it's gonna be control, and there. It's mated. Control 7 for ISO. So there it is. It's fixed, fully defined. Or you could also just delete everything. You could also go about it a different way. You could literally just select this line and this line, coincident those two, and I believe, oh, you just need one more. Oh no, actually you need 2 more still. You could do it like that. We would just need a coincident this face and this face, and this face and this face, this face and this face, or you need to coincident this face and this face. But I don't. Look, we could just go about those 2 lines, and I believe it's fully defined. See now, yeah, it doesn't move. I'm clicking and holding. That way, see if I can move it. You actually can't. So that means it's fine. Alright, just to double check, let's make sure I oriented these correctly. Since this should all be 3 inches away, you have the option of actually measuring this. So if we were to go to the ribbon, evaluate, measure, you could measure from this line. Let's go ahead and measure from this line to this line. It should be 3 inches. Distance is dy 3 inches. This distance is kind of at an angle. It's kind of like the hypotenuse of this little very skinny right triangle. But if you just want it in the y-axis, it's 3 inches. Let's go ahead and measure another one. I press escape, but you press enter, it'll follow the previous command. So let's go with that. Double check. 3 inches, 3 inches. Yes, 3 inches. All right, cool. So there it is. You just double check your column, control save. All right, let's go and put it together now. All right, let's see you in the next video.